Good afternoon, everybody. I am super excited to be here, standing in behalf of the entire R&D organization, showing you all the amazing things we've been working on for the last 6-12 months, things that you've been using, but also the advancements that are coming to our products and services. Joined with me here is Sean.
What we're going to dive into today is an overview of how we are building trust in blockchain through our product vision. All right, so the global shift that all of you are driving and protecting is impressive, and its impact is undeniable. 1 in 5 retail investors are in crypto. $63 billion are locked into DeFi smart contracts. But with the good, sometimes there comes the bad. $20 billion in illicit activity on-chain in 2022, because where there's value, there's crime. But also, where there's crime, there's response. And in this case, that comes in the form of sanctions and regulations. So whether your role is to level the financial playing field or make sure the rules of the game evolve, a myriad of diverse questions must be asked, which leads us to the great crypto paradox. All of the answers are published, but how do we understand them? Solving for that starts by learning from the evolution of Web 2 search, building a knowledge graph. For those engines, it meant things and not strings, and that idea has a home in Web 3. We need to create intelligence on top of raw data through context and connections. In essence, we need to create a model for all interactions across all chains. Then we need to make it easy to interrogate, because unlike Web 2 search, we can't stop at a search bar, because all of you have very specific workflows across a variety of different use cases that are best solved by purpose-built apps. This underscores that the sophistication of a Web3 knowledge graph is just the beginning. The apps that are on top are answering the hard questions, such as how everyone in here can meaningfully inform cases, understand risk, and grow.
Our mission is to build trust on blockchain. And we do that with the power of knowledge graph. The knowledge graph Sean was just talking to us about. But let me walk you through exactly what do we mean by it and how does it all come together. We start with raw blockchain data, trillions and trillions of transactions, billions of addresses, customer network data, and also the open source data and ground truth data that we collect through automation and all the personnel and experts in our team. These are complex data sets and actually meaningless without us translating or a translation layer on top of it to take any meaningful actions on it. Hence, our engine performs things from simple heuristics to highly complex machine learning algorithms to provide you with the insights you need to do your business. A knowledge graph is much more than just data. We look at it as relationships, as insights, as connections that we make with on-chain and off-chain data. A lot of us are familiar with Google, and when you search for a Google restaurant, you not only get their phone number and an address, you actually get a lot more. You get their reviews, their opening hours, driving directions, who's visiting them from your friend circle. Chainalysis wants to connect that data and provide that graph for blockchain. And these insights manifest themselves into everything we do, from training, our products, services, and at the data layer. And it makes it really easy for you to understand, interpret, resolve, and scale and strategize with your business. We have been building the knowledge graph longer than anybody else out there in the industry. 23 trillion transactions identified on our platform, over $1 billion addresses that have been mapped to real-world entities. And if we look at the chains that we support around mature asset, 78% of them we know a counterparty in USD value. The scale and effectiveness of Chainalysis data is what makes this graph so powerful. But we're not stopping there. It's great to stop on big numbers, but we're continuously improving that knowledge graph. In last 6 to 12 months, we've actually built a comprehensive EVM clustering system. With our new algorithms, in real time, we can identify new liquidity pools or smart contracts coming in and add that to our DEX identifications. But we don't only do that for liquidity pools. We've been doing that for everything on DeFi, from yield aggregators, lending protocols, and many more. Our coverage for DeFi is over 95% of TVL, which is total value locked. Now, those numbers will continuously improve as we improve our knowledge graph.
Truly impressive stats, Pratima, but as we discussed, data alone doesn't solve problems. Let's chat about a few other areas of investment from us last year. We've upped our game in alerts, reducing noise and increasing relevance, whether that be through ensuring temporal consistency for all alerts, like sanctions, adding a new rule-building interface, or simply extending the number of metrics and filters available. We're focused on making it easier for all of you to manage the volume. We also introduced a new capability to help secure dApps and DeFi platforms. Here's an example workflow. Customer tries to connect to your platform, Chainalysis brings the proper context to bear to understand risk, and then an automated decision is made to allow or not based on your settings. The power of this approach is significant, as evidenced by the uptake we've seen across over 100 customers who have already screened over 10 million addresses. Now, onto investigations. DeFi, smart contracts, and Web3 in general is bringing complexity to tracing. Sometimes a cluster-based or an aggregate view of flow isn't enough. For these reasons and more, we introduced a transaction and time-based interface for investigations. Okay, so Pratima, that's an impressive look behind us. Why don't we look ahead? What's next?
This is where the fun starts, Sean. This is where we get really excited about, because we can show you everything we've been working on that's coming into beta or early access or even GA within weeks or months. We have 6 things, so remember 6 things, and we'll go through all of them one after another with some in-depth demos. So let's get started. Number 1, taking investigations to the field. We've heard a lot of interest in field-level interface on a mobile device for our solutions and services. Hence, we are introducing a mobile-friendly interface for investigations for people on the field so that they can actually triage the crypto artifacts and also escalate those leads back to the back office if they find something interesting. Let's see this in action. Imagine you're Officer Jacobs, and during a search of a vehicle, you find a crypto artifact. You actually don't know what to do with it. A lot of those times, those crypto artifacts like a transaction hash or an address get unidentified and never taken care of. Instead, let's see how it works with Chainalysis. Officer Jacobs, in this case, can pull out her phone, access Chainalysis through a browser. She doesn't need to download anything. The officer has the ability to search for information. Artifacts like wallet addresses, seed phrases. We don't save any seed phrase, but we let you identify them. She can scan a QR code if she wishes to do that. She can also search and type in a wallet address she might have found on a document. And as she does that, Chainalysis will auto-complete those addresses, making it less error-prone so that she doesn't have to worry about it. But in this scenario, we're going to do a little bit different. In search of the suspect's vehicle, Officer Jacobs actually finds a piece of paper. And what she can do is Chainalysis helps her to use the phone OCR capabilities to actually detect that address on that piece of paper, search for it, and actually show her the result right on her screen. It looks like the address has suspicious activity as high. You can see that high in the red oval right there. She wants to understand why is this suspicious activity high. And with the help capabilities right in our product, she can see that activities related to darknet market, fraud shops can actually drive high suspicious activity. Not only that, she gets more information in the product in the table below. She can scroll down to see that this address is associated with darknet market about 58% of the time, quite high, and that's why that rating came in. More investigation needs to be done to determine whether this suspicious activity is related to the person she just found in the victim or the suspect, but she has enough information to send this information back to the detectives and analysts in the office to further investigate the crime. With a click of a button, Officer Jacobs can actually create a link to a reactor graph and send this email back to the relevant people. It's that easy. Back in the office, the analyst gets the reactor graph and starts working on it. So you can see that the analyst has already found that this wallet is connected to Alpha Bay Market and can quickly find this information and take this case further. This was a quick look at how we are finishing the workflow and enabling that workflow from the field officers back to the investigator in-house. Now that was very cool. We're opening up our open beta. So if you are interested, first of all, check it out in the demo zones out there. We have a lot of demos out there, not only of this, but others. We have a deeper dive session on investigations roadmap where we're showing, or ask your customer success representative if you want to be part of this beta program. Number 2, Storyline. We launched Storyline last year in November, and we've seen a really good uptake from all of you guys, but we've also gotten some great feedback on how to improve our product. And we're always listening to all of you. So we've been furthering improving the product. As you can see, we have a light mode for people who like that. You can cleanly see all the actions, filters, and annotations on the right of that screen. We do grouping by day for better readability, and you can summarize to see what's happened in a time frame. The updated value display for better readability. I think every time I turn this way, my mic stops working. And my personal favorite, the summary tab at the bottom, especially for all those in-depth investigations where you want to quickly look at everything that happened in a story in a succinct way. This is my personal favorite feature out of all the Storyline ones. In addition, we're adding more assets to Storyline with Bitcoin and Solana coming shortly. Basically, our goal is it doesn't matter what visualization you're using between Reactor or Storyline. We want to provide you with all the same asset support.
Fantastic. Thank you. Now on to number 3. We talked earlier about screening addresses. We're extending that concept by adding deeper and richer profiles to a variety of different entities, wallets, pools, and VASPs. More on this in the risk roadmap session that will be tomorrow, but let's take a quick look at an example right now. As we mentioned earlier, the crypto ecosystem is getting much more tightly connected, and banks like this one, a fictional institution called Sapphire Ridge Bank, often works with organizations that have crypto exposure. Sapphire uses Chainalysis to understand the nature of a client's exposure to crypto and to keep their platform clean. So here's a dashboard for managing settings as well as for screening VASPs. Let's take a look at how Sapphire sets up their risk profiles. As all of you know, Chainalysis identifies, categorizes, and calculates exposure to on-chain entities. Sapphire can set up their Web3 risk policies by setting certain categories like sanctions to severe and others like merchant services to low, making it easier to understand who they want to do business with. They're able to fine-tune risk settings to match their evolving policies, like adjusting the mixing category to flag it faster so that their team can know when they should do enhanced due diligence. So here they add a high threshold and set it so that any VASP with greater than 30% exposure to mixers will get flagged as high for the team to review. Cool. All right, so with a few clicks, our risk settings are all set and can be continuously tuned by this team. Let's see it in action. So meet Thursday X, a horribly named fictional exchange. They have a booming business and are now looking for a banking partner. That leads them to apply to services with Sapphire, whose risk team jumps into Chainalysis to look at a rich profile about Thursday X. They easily see that it's flagged as high due to mixing exposure, warranting a deeper look. By then benchmarking Thursday X versus other top exchanges, they see that this high-risk exposure trend is above normal. Further context can be gathered via community-sourced knowledge and open-source intelligence. All of this gives them leads to look into when performing their diligence on Thursday X, which they can then use other Chainalysis capabilities to dive deeper into, keeping Sapphire secure and providing better service and support for their customers. Being able to dive deeper into VASPs and liquidity pools will be available just a little bit later this quarter.
Number 4, Playbook. is one of our newest products. We actually showed a preview of this some time ago to a few of you, and been working with about 10 customers for 6 months to build this out. And I'm very excited to actually demo this and open it up for beta for other people who want to join. What is Playbook first? Playbook helps you find your customer insights on Web3 with on-chain data. What you can do, you can find your VIP customers, nurture them, look at all the customers that got churned and understand why, and build your growth and product strategies. Welcome to Playbook, and let's see this in action. For the purposes of our demo, we'll assume we have Amy, our fictional character, working at a fictional exchange called Maui Exchange. We'll call it Maui X for the purposes of this demo. She has Playbook in front of her. With Playbook, she can see on-chain user insights at her fingertips. She can look at the VIP segment, the users that make it, their balances, activity status, spend rate, and many more things. Down below, Amy can see her users and all the relevant informations that they have, the user IDs. This is a quick look at what makes it into the segment. Like any other business, even in crypto world, we all have to take care of our VIP customers and users. And Amy wants to know more about these VIP users, and especially if they're sending funds somewhere else. Just like that, she can add a filter. There are lots of filters to apply on from spending and other things. She can click on Active Elsewhere and filter this entire list to a smaller set of her VIP customers that are being able to send funds somewhere else. Let's learn more about the first user in the list of those 100 people. Amy can actually drill down and look at the user behavior. This has all the wallets associated with this user. She's able to understand the user balance, their distribution, and where are they holding money. Looks like this user has a lot of ETH. And also, who are they interacting with? And Amy can learn even more if she goes to the Counterparties tab right at the top. This gives her a sneak preview into where has this user been interacting with and what has this user been looking at. When she dives deeper into this analysis, she can in the table see that the user has been interacting with this exchange called Moontrade, a fictional exchange for our demo purposes, and has most recently sent funds to them back in January. This gives Amy enough information to go investigate what happened in January. And of course, she finds out that Moontrade ran a campaign back in January that might have attracted this user to send the funds and convince them. But the great thing is Amy can do something about it. Amy is a savvy marketer and knows that there might be other users like this who have been interacting or sending their funds to Moontrade. So what she does is she goes to the Users tab and create a lookalike segment. She can look at the filters. There are lots of filters here. She can choose the counterparty filter that she was looking at, select that, and select Moontrade in this scenario, and create the segment of customers she wants to target for her campaign. Great. We see that Amy has set up an audience of 25 users. There's a balance of 25 million these 25 users hold. That's quite a bit of money for Maui X or Amy to go after. She can even save this segment, which just by creating a segment at the top, that she can use it for a campaign in her Web2 marketing tools. To activate this campaign, Amy needs to bring this information to the marketing tool she uses. She can select all the on-chain information she needs here, select them, and download them. And then take this information to the marketing tool of her choice to run this campaign. Now, how would Amy know if this campaign was successful? Of course, she can use the traditional methods she has when she runs these campaigns like open rate and other things. But in the Web3 world, we can actually tell her what's happening of the on-chain user activity. So with Playbook, she can actually create a target audience using the same segment she just created just to monitor their on-chain activity. She collects the Moontrade VIP acquisition segment here, and then she can select the KPIs, key performance indicators, that are helpful for her to run this business. She can do that right here. and save this campaign for further monitoring. Let's fast forward in time. Amy and MauiX send a campaign, an email campaign, to the correct segment of people. In this case, Evelyn, a sample user, gets this email, gets attracted by the competitive pricing, and chooses to come back. Fast forward a little bit more. Let's see how this campaign is performing. Amy can see not only this, but all the campaigns that are happening that she's been running. At a glance, she can see that the Moon Trade campaign is doing really well, and about 65% of the users are coming back. Great job, Amy and team. Playbook gives businesses new level of understanding of on-chain activity. Blockchain gives you this insights, and Playbook makes it really easy for you to understand and comprehend it. It's GA coming shortly. We are in open beta. Go check out the demo, and there's a dedicated session on this tomorrow if you want to learn more.
An incredible use for on-chain data for sure. Thanks, Pratima. I hope you guys agree. And now for 5. As our portfolio rapidly grows, we need to ensure that it still is focused and easy to use. Starting now and as we move forward, you'll see our expansive capabilities come together as one. It starts by unifying the front door while making it more secure. No more jumping across multiple logins as you traverse the portfolio. One solution, one login. Next is the unification of the portfolio via navigation. You've already seen this in some places, and that'll continue to push out over the coming weeks. We'll make working in Chainalysis comfortable and familiar no matter the use case or capability. And finally, 6. The next large step is to tailor interfaces based on what you need to get done. Imagine an interface that prioritizes what a compliance officer might be interested in versus what an investigator needs to do, as we see here, keeping their recent cases organized, along with a history. As an example, let's drill in on the BadgerDAO hack. Now we have a roll-up, all we know about this case, complete with a brief that maybe in the future is automatically completed for you through a large language model, to bring new people up to speed, other entities that have been involved, the different graphs and stories that visualize the investigation, with an area to collaborate across teams to drive this to completion. Investigating is hard enough. You shouldn't have to search for artifacts. Pratima, please bring us home.
So we've shown you 6 amazing things today, but this is not all. We've been working on a lot more things that we couldn't cover, so you can definitely go check out our sessions tomorrow. We did 3 in-depth demos of field investigation, VAST profiling, and Playbook. We are very excited about the future, but we need your feedback. So find us here at the demo zone, at the sessions. Give us feedback, because our products only get better because of you guys here and everything you provide us. Thank you for spending the afternoon with us.